What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon Challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon X. One of my most underrated games that I actually enjoy is a guilty pleasure of mine that I play Pokemon X. That's why you see it so much on my channel. But yeah, today's challenge will be Can I Beat Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny Psychic type Pokemon only. Surprisingly enough, I did not do one of the most coveted typings ever in a Hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon X yet. But you know what, we're just gonna run down the line. We're gonna do Psychic only on Pokemon X today. The rules are on screen right now. It's a Hardcore Nuzlocke. I can only catch the first Psychic type shiny Pokemon in each route, of course. There is gonna be a level cap, which is gonna be capped at every single gym at their highest Pokemon, obviously. I could get to that level cap, but I can't get over the level cap before fighting the gym leader. Of course, I can't use items inside of battle, but I can use hell items, and obviously fainting equals death. So all my Pokemon only has one life, essentially. It's pretty standard for a Hardcore Nuzlocke. In addition to that, we're gonna add my own personal rule. Each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me that you guys support my channel. And let's get into the challenge video itself. It was actually for once we had a shiny hunt for a starter Pokemon. We haven't done this in a while, I don't think. But we get to shiny hunt for a shiny Fennekin because Fennekin actually evolves into a fire and psychic type, which is pretty underrated. I think Fennekin, Froakie, and also Chespin, a very underrated trio. They're really good overall. I think it's something for everyone to like, and they're also dual typing, and it's just not firefighting. So I mean, it's pretty cool if you think about this trio. And this trio is almost like 10 years old at this point. Crazy to think. I played this game firstly when I was like 13 or 14, which is wild to me. I'm almost graduating college at this point. I'm getting old. But anyways, from there, we're going to find ourselves a shiny Fennekin and add it to our team. That's going to be really nice as we're able to go out into the forest. And Fennekin actually works pretty well as most of the starting area is going to be filled with bug-type Pokemon. And that was my thought running through my mind. It's like, this is going to be easy. I go into the first gym and the raid boss, Ladybug here, almost actually knocks on my Fennekin and made me restart my shiny hunting process in the first like 11 minutes playing the game after shiny hunting, which is insane to me. But lucky enough, we barely beat the lady and we're gonna face off against Viola next. I forgot how difficult Viola was while using Fennekin. Ironically enough, Fennekin is the worst starter to have here because it's actually gonna be weak to Surskit's Bubble and also has Water Sport, which I can't use my stab move. Also, I have a pretty bad nature on my Fennekin, so I don't outspeed anything, and I have to use Howl and Scratch until I beat the Surskit, and then the Vivillon comes out and the way into the Mud Sport runs out, so I'm able to Ember and hopefully knock out the Vivillon while I'm in Blaze mode. So I'm able to knock out the Vivillon, knock out Viola, just barely. I had to rely on Blaze mode as a fire type to beat a bunch of bug types, which is insane to me. But from there, we're able to head into Route 4 next. Route 4 is going to be our next area where we're going to search out for our next shiny Pokemon. In here, we're actually able to find, I think, one Psychic type Pokemon. Technically, we're able to find ourselves a Ralts. Doesn't matter what grass we're in the red flowers or the yellow flowers, we're able to find Ralts about the same percentage. So we're able to find ourselves a shiny Ralts. And unfortunately, female Ralts, I kind of wanted the male Ralts. I want to use Gallade. Gallade is a Psychic and Fighting type. Gardevoir is going to be Psychic Fairy. I know Fairy type is very broken, but I just want to play with Gallade because Gallade's fun to use. From there though, we're able to move out and we're able to go into Route 5 where there's another Psychic type Pokemon that we could get shiny on our team. Now unfortunately though, I didn't want to use him. Firstly because we're going to shiny hunt for Abra. But the second thing is that they changed Abra's shiny from this pink armor set into this very pale looking thing. I don't know when they changed it. I only realized it just now and I'm kind of upset by it. They changed him so much. So I took the liberty of shiny hunting one of the rarest Pokemon in this route and killing it on purpose because I didn't like the shiny. I couldn't even evolve it for its full form, so I didn't want to use it anyway. So Abra goes down, don't want to use it. I'm making a statement. But that actually takes down one of the shiny encounters in my list, so I have to go out, I have to make up for that. So I decided to go out to Route 6 and shiny hunt in here for an Esper. Wanted the female one, and I got the male one. Of course, I got the male one. So the male one is actually more defensive, while the female form is actually more offensive. Wish I got the female one for this one, and the Curlia flips. So unfortunately for us, we got the Esper male version, and we added to our team. But, you know, it's still a good Pokemon. From there, we're going to actually head into Route 8 next, and a funny story in Route 8 though. Route 8 is actually the place where I firstly played through X and Y. It's going to be where I found myself a shiny Inkay in my first ever playthrough of this game, and ironically enough, we're actually out here shiny hunting for the same Pokemon. So we find ourselves a shiny Inkay, which is very nice. We're going to add that to our team, and I don't know how to evolve this since I'm playing on an emulator. It's gonna be interesting. From there, we're gonna actually head into Glittering Cave, and Glittering Cave, there is a few psychic Pokemon for us, Lunatone and Solrock, and we're gonna have to shiny hunt with this weird 3D third-person look. So all these special encounters, they have to drop down on us, and we're eventually gonna find ourselves a shiny Solrock, which is cool. I've actually never used a Solrock on my team like that, so I guess I'll add it to my team. I actually used an Oras once. It still wasn't that good, I don't think. So we're gonna catch the Solrock, add it to our team, and then face off against Grant next. Grant is going to be the rock type gym leader, and he's gonna start the battle off against us using an Amora. I start the battle off against him using my Curlia because I thought Magical Leaf would do a lot of damage. It did decent amount of damage, but his Amora does more damage to me. But lucky enough, I get a very lucky roll. It's not even a crit, so I two-shot the Amora somehow, and I'm able to switch out my Curlia into my Meowstic against his Tyrant, which I have fully evolved Pokemon in the second gym, which is crazy enough, and is past level 20. I'm not sure what they were doing with the leveling in this game, but from there, I'm able to survive all the hits from Tyrant and easily knock him down with 2 side beams, as we're able to beat down Grant, and now we can move on into Reflection Cave. Now in Reflection Cave, there's a few things for us to do first. There's actually a bunch of psychic Pokemon for us to get in here. Some of them are really good, but I want to like limit myself from getting a Chinglin or a Wobbuffet. I want to avoid those two, so I decided to just use Honey, and the only psychic Pokemon we can get through Horde encounters is going to be a Mime Jr. So, I mean, I'll take a Mr. Mime as my encounter for this route. So, I lucky enough found a shiny Mime Jr. very easily and added to our team. This Horde encounter fight, very annoying. I can't use a spread move because it would knock everything out, and I have to just attack everything one at a time. But eventually, we're able to catch ourselves a Mime Jr., add it to our team, and evolve it into Mr. Mime. As next up, we're going to try to evolve my Inkay into Malamar. As you can see, I get very close to level 30. That's when it's able to evolve. And as you can see, I'm trying to turn my screen, so hopefully it makes the game believe I'm upside down. For you to evolve Inkay at all, you have to turn your 3DS upside down, which I don't know how they're going to implement that in the newer games, especially when it goes to consoles. But apparently the only way to evolve Inkay on an emulator on Citra is to actually attack a Pokemon, beat it while holding down right click and then moving your mouse up on the bottom screen, and somehow it works. It evolves Inkay into a Malamar. Whatever, we'll take that. And we're gonna go out and face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Karina next. Karina is gonna be the fighting type gym leader, and we're gonna start the battle off against her using my Gardevoir, Fusion down the Mienfoo. Well, I'd have Confusion still. I don't have Psychic or anything. Well, Confusion knocks out the Machoke as well, and then her final Pokemon will be a Hawlucha. Of course, Confusion's 40 power, so it's not going to knock out the Hawlucha one shot. It's going to take multiple shots because she also begins to heal, but I'm eventually able to knock out the Hawlucha and beat down Karina. We're able to get our third gym badge in the game, and now we're going to start trucking through a bunch of gym fights. We're going to face up against Ramos next, and this is actually a very disappointing fight. I started the battle off against Ramos using my Braixen. I didn't get a better fire type move, so I decided to make a physical attacking Braixen. It did not work. As you can see, the Jump Bluff almost knocks me out. I'm in Blaze mode. Lucky enough, I'm able to knock out the Jump Bluff, and I'm like, I'm not dumb enough to risk this. So I decided to switch out into my Malamar against the Go-Go. He's unable to actually hit any Hypnosis against him because my Malamar is completely blind for some reason. So I decided to switch out into my Solrock because I just saw him keep using Bodos and Takedown. I forgot he was a Grass type Pokemon, and I went for a Psychic against the Go-Go. It did passable damage at best, but it has Grass Knot and it one-shots my Solrock, and I'm like, oh, why'd that happen? So I completely forgot Go-Go was a grass type Pokemon, even though there's grass fur on his body. I decided to go out into my Gardevoir next, and I'm able to Calm Mind up. Why does it get Calm Mind before Psychic or any better Psychic type move like Side Beam? But anyways, we're able to 3-shot down the Go-Go, and then 1-shot down the Weeping Bell, and finally beat down Ramos. But we added Death on our Death counter, ironically enough, to the Grass type gym leader. From there, we're gonna move out into the Power Plant situation in the desert, and I hate this place because there's so much XP. I have to maneuver through all the trainers here and make sure my Pokemon don't go over the level cap. It's probably one of the most annoying parts of the game. But from there, we can move out and stay under the level cap and face off against Clement next. Clement is going to be the electric type gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Meowstic. Meowstic's able to Side Shock into the Emolga and then do about half to him as he switches out into his Magneton. I'm able to get a Light Screen up and also Flamethrower into the Magneton. And he's going to switch out to his Heliolisk next. I'm able to Mystical Fire it and lower his special attack. I'm eventually able to knock him out with my Delphox, which is very cool. And then his next Pokemon will be the Emolga. I don't want to stay in since I'm at 18 HP. I go out to my Malamar, and Malamar is able to knock out the Emolga for me as we end up beating down Clement and got our 5th gym badge. From there, we're going to face off against Valerie next. Valerie's going to be the fairy type gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Delphox and Flamethrower to one-shot down the Mawile as she switches out to a Sylveon next. Imagine this thing got like, was it Fiery Dance? That would be so cool if Delphox got Fiery Dance. But from there, I switched out to my Mr. Mime, almost getting knocked out by the Sylveon, and then I gotta switch back into my Delphox, which is able to eventually knock out the Sylveon, and the Mr. Mime is the last one on the team, and I one-shot it somehow. So we're able to knock down Valerie, get her 6 gym badge in the game, move out into the Ice Cavern next. The Ice Cavern, firstly in the Ice Cavern, we gotta clear through the Team Flare members in here, and then we're able to go for a bunch of Horde encounters. There is one Psychic Pokemon that we want to catch in here, which is the only Psychic Pokemon in here, actually. I don't know why I phrased it like that, but the only Psychic Pokemon we're able to catch in here is going to be a Smoochum. And look at the difference in the shiny form. There's no difference at all. It's like lighter. If I wasn't looking at my screen, if I was just watching the episode of South Park that I was watching, I would have missed it completely because I was like, oh, nothing changed, so I would have ran away. But I was looking at my screen at this moment, and I was able to find myself a shiny Smoochum. So we're able to catch the Smoochum, add it to our team, and for some reason it doesn't get Psychic. I don't know why it doesn't get Psychic, but yeah, it doesn't get Psychic. Unfortunately, I actually ran out of Pokeballs too, and now I have to use a Master Ball on the Smoochum because this is my last ball. I forgot to buy balls, so well, now we got a Smoochum in a Master Ball on accident. How are we gonna catch Xerneas? So we gotta be careful. We gotta catch the legendaries the old-fashioned way. But also from there, we also can go into the move learner and remember some moves for Gardevoir, which is pretty nice, and our other Pokemon just in case. And from there, we're going to face off against Olympia next. Olympia is going to be the Psychic Gym Leader in the game. She's pretty easy as I start to battle off against her using my Gardevoir. And I get a few Calm Minds up against her, which, I mean, pretty much sets the stage for how this battle is going to go. As I get, do I get 6? No, I don't think I got 6. No, I got 4, and then Moonblast into the Sigilyph, knock him out in one shot. Knock out the Meowstic in one shot as well, and obviously Slowking will go down in one shot as we're able to sweep down Olympia, move out into the legendary fight next. We're going to face off against Xerneas next. Xerneas is going to be the legendary game. We have to catch this without a Master Ball, and I decided to go for a Quick Ball for the first turn and a catch. So you know what? There's nothing to worry about at all. So we caught Xerneas, and now we can face off against Lysander next. Lysander is going to be the final Team Flare boss. And we're going to start the battle off against him using my Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime's able to substitute. I don't know why I'm substituting, but I'm able to substitute and Psychic into the Mienshao and knock him out in one shot. His next Pokemon is going to be a Honchkrow. I'm pretty sure I would bet my bank that Thunderbolt would knock out this Honchkrow, but I was kind of worried that it would have survived. But Honchkrow goes down. His next Pokemon will be a Pyroar, which I go for a substitute. I'm hoping his Fire Blast is missed, and it does on the second turn, as I'm able to Baton Pass into my Gardevoir, and then it's gonna Fire Blast me again. So that's unfortunate. I actually get Burn on this, so I need to be careful because Burn is not good for us, as I'm able to Psychic into the Pyroar, knock him out, and his final Pokemon will be his Mega Gyarados, which is probably Dark type, as I'm able to Moonblast and outspeed him. I'm able to knock out Lysander pretty easily, and yeah, it's nothing too difficult. From there, we're gonna face off against our rivals on the bridge. They're very, very easy, like terrible, like actually not even easy. They're terrible. They should not be trainers. Anyways, from there, we're going to face off against Wolfric next. Again, they got to stop with the awful 8 gym leaders being Ice type, because Ice is not a good typing. I don't know how to tell you this. Stick with the Dragons. Dragons was a way better typing. We're able to Flamethrower into the Abomasnow, knock him out. Flamethrower into the Avlok to knock him out. Why does this battle drag on? Oh yeah, because the Cryogonal get very lucky. As is able to Confuse Ray, live a Flamethrower, surprisingly, and it's able to Confuse Ray me down, make my Delphox uneasy, uncomfortable, so I gotta switch out into my Malamar, and then he Confuse Rays my Malamar, and I'm unable to attack again. So I gotta switch out my Malamar, and I switch my Gardevoir into an Ice Beam, and it gets frozen, and 3 of my Pokemon are unable to face off against this Cryogonal. It's not because it's good. I know I talked a lot of crap about this gym leader, but it's not because it's good. It's because it got very lucky. Like 1 in 1.5 billion chances that this happens. But either way, even though that happened, I'm still able to knock out Wolfric without too much struggle at all. More of annoyance anyways. We beat down Wolfric, we head into the victory road, we clear through the victory road pretty easily, and then face off against the Elite Four next. Now, our first Elite Four member, we can go in order. We're going to face off against Malva next. Malva's going to be the first Elite Four member we're going to face off against, which is going to be a Fire type Elite Four member. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Meowstic to Calm Mind in front of the Pyroar, which is huge. I'm able to take a bunch of Hyper Voices as I'm able to Psychic into the Pyroar. I was scared of the Talonflame. but I'm able to also one-shot the Chandelier, and then the Talonflame comes out. I'm afraid that it might actually outspeed me and kill me with Brave Bird. It actually went for Flare Blitz, which does a lot of damage to me anyways, but I'm able to survive it as it's defensive Meowstic, and I'm able to Psychic into him and knock him out. Her last Pokemon will be a Torkoal, which I don't want to stay in because I'm always low on HP. It goes for a Curse anyway, so maybe I should have just stayed in. I go out to my Gardevoir next. Gardevoir is able to two-shot it with Psychic, and even though it has a Curse, it does 0 damage to my Gardevoir with a Curse up. So I'm able to knock down Malva and clear through the first Elite Four member of the game. Next up, we're going to face up against Wingstrom next. Wingstrom's going to be a Steel-type Elite Four member of the game, and you guys know how this will go. I start the battle off against the Klefki using my Delphox. I get Calm Mind from Olympia as the TM, so I'm able to get Calm Mind on Delphox as well. Flamethrower to one-shot the Klefki very easily. His next Pokemon will be a Probopass, which I two-shot with Flamethrower, and I survive a Power Gem very easily. And Flamethrower will knock out the Probopass, one-shot the Scizor, and his final Pokemon will be an Aegislash, which I'm able to one-shot as he goes for King's Shield, which is meaningless. One-shot the Aegislash as we're able to beat down Wingstrom, and yeah. Very long adventures since we started a challenge facing off against Viola and barely winning against the Ladybug and also Vivillon. So it's funny enough. Anyways, we're going to face off against the next Elite Four member, which is going to be Drasna. Drasna is the Dragon-type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Delphox. Accidentally clicked Shadow Ball, which is pretty bad, but I'm able to Psychic into the Draglich and knock him out, which is nice. Her next Pokemon will be an Altaria, which I could have stayed in, thinking back to it, but I could switch out into my Jinx next, and I could finally use Jinx on screen. I use Beam to knock out the Altaria. Basically, that's the end of the battle. I'm able to survive a Flamethrower very easily. Looking up, I don't have Dry Skin. I feel like Dry Skin doubles the damage of Fire-type moves, or is that just in my head? I feel like that is truthful, but I'm not able to confirm or deny that. But I'm able to Ice Beam, knock out the Noivern, which is nice, and then the final Pokemon will be a Druddigon. I don't really want to risk it, I'm not gonna lie. I lied, I risked it. Okay, I thought I was gonna go to Gardevoir and keep it playing safe, but I went for Ice Beam, knock out the Druddigon in one shot. And then from there, we're going to face off against Steelberg next. Steelberg's going to be the Water-type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my little Meowstic. We have Thunderbolt and also Light Screen. We can survive any attack here. I should have gone for Calm Minds, but I'm able to Thunderbolt into Clawitzer and knock him out in 2 shots. His next Pokemon was something I did not account for, which is a Barbarical. I went out into my Malamar next. He does a lot of damage, especially with X-Scissor to my Malamar. Did not know he had that move, so I decided to switch out into my Mr. Mime next. Mr. Mime's able to get a Thunderbolt off against him. He does not do a lot of damage with the Thunderbolt. He does more damage with a Stone Edge to me. I'm at 1 HP basically. I send out my Gardevoir next against him. I take a Stone Edge, which is unfortunate. I go for a Psychic to knock out the Barbarical. His next Pokemon will be a Gyarados, which I'm able to get a Psychic off against. He goes for a Dragon Dance, and then I was hoping he go for a Dragon Dance once again. Unfortunately, he went for a Waterfall and knock out my Gardevoir, which is unfortunate. So here comes the whole thing falling down. Normally his Gyarados goes for 2 Dragon Dances. He decides not to. He goes for a Waterfall to knock out my Jinx as well. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have Dry Skin. And then I go out to my Meowstic. I was hoping he goes for a Dragon Dance. He goes for a Waterfall and knock out my Meowstic as well. And the rest of my team will lose to this unless he actually goes for a Dragon Dance. I go out to my Delphox, which is weak to water. Then he goes for Dragon Dance against me. And I go for a Psychic to knock out the Gyarados. And his final Pokemon will be a Starmie, which I'm able to go for Calm Mind in front of. And Shadow Ball to 2-shot into him and knock out the Starmie at the very least. Survive 2 serves, which is huge. Very clutch with Calm Mind. But I'm able to beat Steelberg, but I lose 3 more Pokemon. So we have 4 on the death counter now. From there, we're going to face off against the champion in the game. We're going to face off against Diantha next. We're going to start the battle off against Diantha using my Mr. Mime that I saved. Out of everyone that I saved Mr. Mime. I'm able to Psychic into the Hallelujah to one-shot him. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Gourgeist, which I go for a Substitute and then Calm Mind in front of. Here's the huge play. She goes for a Phantom Force. She doesn't have the Infiltrator. She's going to hit into the Substitute. I get a bunch of free Substitute, and I also get a bunch of Calm Minds. I feel like she does have a Grass move, but just because Phantom Force is super effective, she wants to keep going for it. I get a bunch of free boosts, and I can switch out into my Delphox. It does not take the Phantom Force pretty well, but I'm able to recover my HP, get a bunch of boosts up against her, and I'm able to Flamethrower and knock out the Gourgeist. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Tyrantrum, as I'm able to Psychic into him and one-shot him. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Goodra, which I'm able to Psychic as well. Does not one-shot it. Goodra is very tanky. Yeah, I know it's going to go for a full restore as I go for a Calm Mind against him. I'm able to Psychic into him and one-shot him finally. And then her next Pokemon will be an Aurorus, which I'm able to Psychic into him and knock him out as well. Her final Pokemon will be a Gardevoir, and her entire moveset is special, so I'm not worried at all. I go for a Shadow Ball and one-shots the Gardevoir anyways, as we're able to beat down Diantha easier than Steelberg. Because Steelberg almost destroyed my entire thing. Actually, Steelberg, if he went for Waterfall the rest of the time, he would have beat me. So yeah, shout out for Zeroberg for throwing the game for me. But from there, we're actually able to beat Pokemon X Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny psychic type Pokemon only. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, my name's been Alpha. I hope you guys all had a great day. Happy New Year still. It's still first. We actually did this video before the Scarlet and Violet video, because that video took forever to just record, because Scarlet and Violet is so long, bro. Anyways, my name's Alpha. I'll see you guys next week.